Welcome to another episode of Me The Firo, where I'm joined by our project steward, Reuben Yap. And we have a very exciting episode today because Reuben's going to tell us all about Spark and its progress.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we did one of this, so always glad to be on. And yeah, I think we're really close to getting testnet on Spark. Actually, like right now, everything's working. So what is holding it back is that because we want to make sure that our Explorer, we want to be people to use the Explorer to check their transactions on testnet. So actually, yeah, Spark is ready to go on testnet. It's just that we want to make sure that it goes out in a way that people can interact it in a nice way and see how private Spark transactions are. The other thing that's also being worked on is the GUI. Which I think we've already made some good progress. We actually engaged Arcadia to help us with that. And I think they're quite there in probably another 2 weeks of work. So once testnet is launched, maybe let's say 3 months or so, if there's nothing that comes up, we'll be able to launch mainnet on that. And we're really excited. But we just want to make sure that we launch in a good state, we make sure all our mobile wallets are ready. We're not introducing any bugs. So really excited for that. And, I think all in our team is so gearing to go to move to Spark because it's going to be the largest improvement in privacy, at least on chain for Firo since its inception. Yeah.
And what's the plan, Reuben, once we go to Spark? Because it's from my understanding that Spark is like it's almost like a magic bullet in terms of privacy. It's like the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. But is the plan really to kind of be able to sort of stay on this foundation of Spark and just do minor upgrades as opposed to such a huge revamp?
Yeah, so I think I think we'll take a break from going so hardcore with trying to come up with new protocols and stuff. We actually already have started research on how to improve Spark even further. I think if anything, one of the things that we could improve with Spark, even though it's already very good, is we want to improve our verification time. We want to get global anonymity sets because right now the anonymity sets 65,000, which almost works like a global anonymity set when you look at it in action practically, but it's always good to just have theoretical global anonymity sets, meaning that means every single commitment is in this giant one pool rather than having it in groups of 65,000. And this compares already very well to Monero's 16 currently. But obviously we want to get maximum privacy, and we have some promising research there, and we actually kind of have the cryptographic construction for it, but there's a lot of engineering work that needs to be done. I mean, we can keep the Spark addresses and the most of the structure about it, but we feel that right now, rather than trying to keep on going for the theoretical improvements, it makes more sense to kind of build up usability and also the use cases of Spark, such as Spark assets, which is what we'll be working on right after Spark. Yeah, so we're not giving up improving. Just yeah.
But sort of minor tweaks, right? The foundation is there, is what I'm hoping, right? And then you can just build, with minor changes on top of that.
That's right.
Because what I'd like to see is it to make it sort of easier for developers to adopt, and rather than thinking, oh well, here's a protocol, it's going to be completely different in another year or two.
Correct.
So it kind of
this is kind of where we have a slight decision issue with Elysium, because Elysium is actually ready, but we actually it's already in release candidate status. It's actually already on mainnet, but we didn't want to announce it make a big announcement about it because first of all, the .oracle integration is still under happening right now, so they're working hard on it. Of course, it's a bit delayed. But the other thing is that we are intending to replace it with Spark assets. So there's a nice migration path, but it's just we want to promote this thing and then it gets replaced maybe like a year down the line, it's a bit tough, right? So we'll see. We're still
Yeah,
thinking about how to do that best. Yeah.
my opinion would be, well, and I could be wrong, but it's just my opinion.
Mhm.
But my opinion would be to just release a Spark version of it and have that as like the first release of it, and then promote that heavily with the expectation that other developers know this is going to be like the foundation they build from, as opposed to have to redo all their work if they choose to adopt or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is that right
Yeah,
now Elysium is not designed with Spark in mind. It was designed in the era of Lelantus, right?
yeah.
And it was like delayed for a couple of reasons. But yeah, we actually have it ready now. It's just a lot of moving parts, and we are a lean team, and we just I think the focus right now, I think what the community wants is Spark. So let's
Yeah.
focus on Spark right now. Yeah.
Just for people who may be newer to
Mm,
Firo, Reuben,
mm.
can you let us know why is Spark a big upgrade over Lelantus?
Right. So Lelantus allows you to burn coins and then redeem them any arbitrary amount. So I can burn like 156 coins and then I can redeem 32 or anything less than that, right? And the new coins that you redeem have no previously associated transaction history. Now that is good privacy, but as you can tell, first of all, like the addresses are still like regular Bitcoin addresses. Of course, we have our wrap addresses, which is fine, but it's on a UX perspective, on a user experience perspective, it isn't really good.
You have to go through a process to get
Yeah.
it up and running, right? Yeah.
So yeah, like for example, right now with Lelantus, when you receive the coins, the Firo coins, you have to click anonymize, and because you need your private key to do that anonymization transaction. So that's already a UX like not so great, right? And then when you send it, right, you have to review the amount that you're sending. So that again is a I guess a privacy leak, right? So
Yeah.
with Spark, people can send directly to Spark addresses, and the person receiving it doesn't even have to like click anonymize and everything or even access the private key. The funds are already there, right? So that's great.
It's seamless in the terms of the privacy function, right? And that's it's generally
Correct.
what, and that's what we want for like people. They don't you don't want to have to think about being private. You just want it to be private, right? And
Yes.
it's kind of
So
it's much closer to Monero in terms of that usability in that respect, right? But with technical, much better privacy.
correct, correct. I mean that's what we're aiming for, because I think people always ask us like, why did we even have the transparent layer to begin with? Of course, I think this is like too long a story for this show, but
Yeah.
basically we started with zero coin, and that it was designed for Bitcoin, and therefore we had that transparent layer that we inherited, and now we have this whole ecosystem built up. So we now with Spark addresses, we are transitioning out of that transparent layer. So we really want to make Spark addresses like the default for everything. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of, well, I quite like that transparent layer as an option. It should be
Mm,
like the privacy layer is like seamless, and that's what you use most of the time. But the exchanges, etc., if they are going to demand a transparent layer, then at least you're still compatible,
correct.
because that
I
is
mean,
very
like
important.
logically, of course, it doesn't make sense, but then exchanges are they want the least path of resistance, and
Yeah.
as a smaller project, we just want to make it easy for them while we are still reliant on them. But we are trying to speak to exchanges to at least allow withdrawals to Spark addresses, which would be amazing, because that means from the user perspective, we don't even, if they support Spark address withdrawals, we don't even have to deal with any transparent addresses on our end. Yeah.
That would be nice. We'll see how that
Fingers
goes with
crossed.
those
Yeah.
exchanges. Yeah. um, is there anything else you want to cover on that before we move to the CFC business?
Nope. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but like, let's keep the meeting short.
It's a short
Yeah.
episode today, folks. Ruben's got a meeting. Maybe we'll do a part two. Just to let everybody know, there's currently the vote for the CFC elections, and it ends on April the 1st, I
Mhm.
think, right? Which was a poor choice of start date. because it ends on April Fool's Day. All it requires
Yeah.
is someone with a trust level 2. If you have a trust level 2, you could go and vote. Or if you've been a donator, if you donated 10 Firos or more, you can also vote. If you've been involved with the community, you can approach Reuben or Lucas, our community manager, and they'll let you vote. And we've got a few new ones this year as well. So we've got a few new candidates for people to select.
Yeah,
some good ones
new
too.
candidates, but I guess like recognized within the community, so that's always nice. Yeah,
Some long-term members actually have decided to throw their hat in the race, which is
yeah,
great. And also, I just thought I'd go over some of the progress that the CFC have made since it's been established. As I told, well, I'm not sure I told Reuben, but I wasn't that excited to begin with. And when he mentioned this whole CFC thing, but over the last year, because I was like, oh, give it to the masternodes or something. But over the last year, it's actually come in really handy, and I think you would agree, Reuben, right? These extra resource in this bear market must have been a relief for you, right?
I mean, it is a relief, and the thing is that although it's, I would say, relatively slow, we are starting to see some people apply to get funding from Firo, for example, like the Hummingbot guys, and like recently, some from the Monero community have started approaching me. Of course, I'm not a CFC member, but it's just like, Reuben's the guy to talk about Firo. But I say like, hey, if you want to do something with Firo, you can get some funding from it. It's not a lot at the moment, but at least there's this avenue, and that has gone down a lot better. So I think over the next 1 or 2 weeks, you'll see a couple of other proposals. Some are quite good. Like marketing proposals, obviously, some from the Monero community has come over. VS Nation from the Beam community, of course, also made his own proposal. So I think it's a nice way for other people to. I think it's gone past the days that we can expect people to work for free, and expect them to put out put like significant amounts of time in it. So, obviously, the CFs, yeah.
Yeah, and also as we grow, Reuben, as well as a community, right? The more people we can bring on board, it increases the chances that there will be people that can spare some time to contribute, etc. Right? We'll have a bigger talent pool. And one thing I did want to say, Reuben, I mean, my only critique really for the CFC in terms of how it's structured right now is that I'd prefer there to be some kind of mechanism where the community can put forward a proposal, and I think I've mentioned it on the forum, where say they want to see something developed,
Yes.
and see it in CFC can give their opinions, but so that developers have somewhere to go is like a job board, just to go and browse what they feel that they could contribute, and then put in a tender, and then the CFC can deliberate and see if it's good value and decide to that. At least that way, then it's community driven, and it's kind of like the developer is actually making proposals on what the community is wanting, rather than developers shopping their wares to us, and we may not, as a community, want that.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually, get Lucas to post something called "Help from the Community," and and I also put some stuff that we were looking at, like we could use help in. Obviously, these are my opinions, but it's kind of like a job board, right? Obviously, I think we could do it better and make it in a nicer format. But this is like for example, some of the stuff like improved tip boards, P2P mining pools, DCR DEX integration, Cake Wallet integration, all these type of stuffs that we would really like to see, but the core team is just too busy to handle right now. So.
And this is what I was maybe going to say, whether or not the CFC could essentially fund the tools for the community to make their proposal, to build a job board so developers could go shopping there, so they can get, at least they've got their finger on the pulse of what the community is looking for and wants, right?
Yeah.
And maybe the CFC can maybe put a proposal. Obviously, we know you've done a lot of business with Arcadia, maybe someone else may also want a tender, but if we can get something built, just for the new round, the new electorate of the CFC members, but really mainly the community, so they can put their ideas forward, and we as the CFC and as well as the development community, they can see what we want, and it just makes
Yeah.
us, I think, easier in that respect.
I think that makes sense. Maybe to good have a a sit down with the CFC and say like what does the CFC think that they should, obviously with some feedback and from everyone. I think that would be a good way because like right now it seems like this like the CFC. I mean, obviously we're still experimenting, but it's kind of like people propose to them and then they decide. But I think it'll be nice if the CFC could be a bit more proactive. That's my personal
No, yeah,
hope because obviously
yeah.
like a lot of things that we have to drive them to vote, to look at stuff. So yeah, hopefully that will improve.
Well, I'm kind of hoping also really to bypass some of the need of the or the direction of the CFC in so we can involve the community more than the CFC. So the CFC is really just there to like, oh no, we're gonna get like screwed on this one or something or ripped off, and it's
Yeah.
just really as a safeguard rather than someone who's like really driving the direction of Firo itself. I'd rather the
Yes.
community eventually take over that.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole purpose of the
Yeah.
CFC, right? We want to remove the development fund eventually.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's I don't want the CFC to end up basically being the Reuben development kind of thing. It's
Yeah, I get it.
yeah. And I just thought I missed this, but I'll go over what the CFC has funded so far. We funded the Lelantus Spark audit for Hashcloak. Hashcloak did it. And that was one that I was really glad we funded because, as I've said in a previous episode, I don't think it's good to like try and save money on an audit because that, by extension, is your security. And rule number one is of any store of value is don't lose the value. So that was great. And then we've got market making, development, and research. It's funded, as well as mining pool bonus for the after the merge. And that lasted quite a few months, didn't it? Or weeks?
Yeah, a couple of months, definitely.
Yeah, I think so. And we also brought Firo back to masternode.online so that we have more visibility there. And we funded the FiroDix liquidity pool, Firo's decentralized exchange. And as well as our community managers. Then Lucas, his role's kind of growing over time as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very happy with Lucas's progress.
Hopefully, when the price goes up, we can pay him,
a little bit of a bonus.
A bit more.
His role is expanding. Yeah, and is there anything else, Reuben, you wanted to cover? Because I know you've got a meeting right now.
Not really, but I mean, I guess I would like to just remind people, like, even though you think your vote doesn't count, we really would like to see more people voting. I mean, even though you feel like, it's the same people and whatnot, your vote counts, We want to see people express their opinion. It also increases the legitimacy of the elected, community, because you might think, yeah, I'm okay with it. It's all more or less the same people. I don't need the vote. No, please do vote. And if you don't have the right access level, don't say like, I'll give up. You can just, go into our Discord or Telegram or anything and say, hey, I've been a long-term member. And look, we'll recognize you, right? And I don't think we would decline anyone that has been a genuine member of Firo, and we'll let you vote. So please, we really want to see more, like I said, I guess, community governance. And, I think it's really important to participate in it, even if you feel that you don't make a difference here, because you do. And the last time we had about 70 over votes. Right now, we're only like at 16 or 17, something really low like that. And hopefully we can get a much higher count. I would like to at least see like 30 or something like that, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, I think the only reason we have like these level 2 restrictions on who can vote is to prevent like Sybil attacks and things like that. So it's really there just to protect Firo, and like I said, and like Reuben said, is just contact Lucas or anything if you have like a history with Firo, and they'll pass you the vote.
Yeah, because we just don't want people like creating like lots of new accounts and then suddenly voting. And I guess like yeah, it's a balance between gating it and making sure like legitimate voters. So this is the best we can do without having to do like KYC or anything like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, cool.
excellent.
So
Right. Okay, on that bombshell, if you enjoyed the show, subscribe for future updates.
yes,
And
like, subscribe, and
like,
yeah, that
subscribe.
yeah, we really need those. I think I would like to see our YouTube channel grow.
Yeah, and yeah, how about you share the video? That might be great.
I will do that.
Alrighty, bye bye now.